Right now, Auburn is number 2 in the transfer portal rankings. Did a heck of a job closing it out. And what I wanted to talk about was, so if you're a fan of Auburn and you love inside information, and of course you probably come to 24/7 Sports, inside the Auburn Tigers, Auburn Undercover, definitely probably go there for your inside info with me, Jason Caldwell, and Christian Clemente, and Nathan King, and Mark Murphy, Phillip Marshall, Ronnie Sanders. You know how that goes. You know the team. But yeah, so if you're a recruiting purist and you love recruiting information and you love the Auburn Tigers, you're probably wondering, like, you may be used to more info leaking earlier or before time. And what I want to say is that this is by design, that Hugh Freeze and staff and those are the powers that be in that area are keeping more of their visits in-house at this time. Why? Because they're getting guys on campus, especially with the transfer portal. This is what I know, and I heard this from a couple of other coaches. Auburn was getting guys on campus and closing them. So there may be some people that are upset because some of that inside information about who's visiting isn't coming out until they get there. But Freeze and company did that by design to be sure that nothing was going to stop them from being able to close what they had going on, or they had a guy they think they know who they're getting on campus, but they don't want that info leaking to make sure they get those recruits on campus, especially what they did in the transfer portal, because a lot of those guys that they got on campus, they ended up closing them and they were committed by the time they left. So kudos to the staff for understanding that sometimes, how can I say this? The political part of the game, whereas you want people to know who's coming ahead of time, there'll be time for that. And I guarantee you, to anybody working the Auburn beat or anybody who follows Auburn recruiting really closely, there's going to be a time where a lot of that inside information about who's visiting is going to come out earlier from the staff, and they'll give it and they feed the media the way they want to. There are guys who have different relationships on different sides of the ball, or different sides of on different sides of the field, or whatever, however you call it. There are guys that have relationships with people and they let that information go. But right now, Auburn is running in a solidified front to say keep the information in to make sure nothing gets out. Why is that? Because they can't afford to miss out. They can't afford not one mishap in order to put Auburn back where it needs to be. Now, with that being said, I absolutely expect for Auburn to kind of conduct themselves as some of the other powerhouse recruiting schools or recruiting teams or recruiting staffs. They will start to operate like that as they become that. As they become that powerhouse, as Auburn returns to where they're used to being, you're going to see more of that inside information come out, because it won't matter, because, no, if you go to Auburn, nobody's going to stop you. Nobody's going to say, hey, well, if you go down to Auburn, you can't come here. No, because that's not going to happen, because the level of guy that Auburn is recruiting, you can already see that with the 25 kids is going to continue to go up. And what's going to start to happen is, so for example, like Alabama, you see so much inside information about Alabama, and sometimes people say, well, Alabama doesn't care if who knows who's coming because such and such, they know they're Alabama. Okay, well, Auburn cares who knows who's coming because they know they're Auburn right now. But as they continue to close that gap, they continue to be successful recruiting, it won't matter as much. And I guarantee you that's what's going to start happening. You're going to see Auburn start to walk around like they did in the early 2000s. Yeah, we're going to get the top guys in Alabama. Yeah, we don't care who wants them. We're going to keep them home. We're going to keep them in Auburn. And I think that's really important as far as the confidence of this staff, the momentum the staff is building, and basically just the excitement about Junior Day. Like, Junior Day is approaching. Last year, Auburn had 13 guys. This year, Auburn probably have 35 guys on campus for Junior Day. And they got guys. I mean, you got top quarterbacks. Top quarterback from the 25 class just told me he's coming. Got top wide receivers, DBs. I mean, like, it's going to be a loaded junior day. And I think that Auburn is headed in the right direction. I'm really excited to see what Hugh Freeze and company continue to do as far as turning this thing around. So shout out to Auburn, recruiting staff, and what they've been able to do to put Auburn right back where it needs to be.